Welcome to another episode of the State of the Bulldogs. Sam, Mike, Jeb, and Grant. Grant and Mike tonight. Boys, we have not gotten together since Samford Football announced John Gross as our new head football coach. Guys, first, he is definitely from Alabama. Oh
What?
my God.
What gave it away?
And he is definitely a football coach. As soon as he started talking, I was like, yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, a native of Alabama. What gave it away that he's a football coach? I mean, come on. He's certain. Talk had a 30-minute opening statement. He was ready to go. Kept talking. He's all right, let's go. Let's keep going.
Look, I wanted him to get even more into the football.
No.
It honestly sounded a little bit, let me tell y'all, or tell me if this is what y'all heard. Kind of sounded like he wants to play like UTC played for, I don't know, the last 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Very physical, basic, nothing flashy, hit hard, run fast. It's football.
Did nice change of pace.
A little bit.
I'd say not as fun on
Something
offense,
that's
but
lacking.
anything to be more fun than what we've experienced the last 2 years. So
Winning is fun. Winning is fun.
It's just the Oklahoma fan coming out of you. Said our offense has been great. Now the defense is like who cares what the offense
Who
looks like?
cares?
Defense is winning games. Yeah, we'd love to have that. Yeah, Gross kind of going into his resume a little bit. We've touched on it previous weeks, but he spent a lot of time coaching in high school in the state of Alabama. Was the head coach at Moody, Spain Park, and Oxford. A couple of schools. Moved over to Jacksonville State in 2013. Was on Bill Clark's inaugural staff at Jacksonville State. The next year, Bill Clark goes to UAB, takes the UAB job. Gross gets promoted. He's the head coach from 2014 to 2021. We've touched on this, but a 72-26 record, 49-9 in OVC play, 6 OVC championships, 6 playoff appearances lost, and the national championship game in 2015 in a 13-2 year. Coming here from Samford, spend the last 4 years at Clemson. We'll have a sure enough of a Clemson flair when it comes to how he's going to build his staff, obviously being there for 4 years.
Yeah, I wanted to know y'all's take on this. Because I feel like I'm drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid. Obviously, Clemson's method does not work in big-time college football. However, that strategy may be a home run on the FCS level. What do y'all think?
you mean recruit and retain versus transfer portal?
FBS, Texas Tech proved this year, you throw money at the problem, you're going to win, you're going to make the playoff, you're going to get a bye. Clemson's sitting at home. Clemson's not going to sniff the playoff until they pay up. That's just a free market that we're currently witnessing at big-time college football. But the FCS level, where we're talking about 50,000, 80,000, like much smaller differences in cash in your pocket. I mean, I'm kind of leading y'all here, but
Yeah.
push back a little bit. Like,
I mean,
do you think
Bucky-
that can be successful or no?
Bucky told us maybe when he came on, he's like, what I tell guys is if it's less than $100,000, then it's not worth your time going. That's not life-changing money in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it is to a college kid, but
No.
Hopefully these kids think and realize that the network they can build at Samford and just football's tough. It's not like basketball where you've got 15 guys in a roster. Like, you got to grind to get playing time. So
Right.
nothing's guaranteed if you're transferring out. It probably makes sense to stick around if you can.
Yeah, to that point, Gross kind of mentioned that he said himself that FCS football is still like the purest form of football when it comes to the way that obviously FBS has kind of gone. He said I think it will be good because we have seen over the past few years Samford, the portal worked to 22. Cool, it's running back at 23. It progressively got lower and lower when it came to the quality set. And now Samford decided to pivot to more of a freshman class this year, and it's a little bit too late in that regard. So I think it is good, kind of build some of that Clemson mindset. You kind of want to have obviously a lot of your own guys and then fill in portal holes when you need. That's kind of the happy medium that everybody's trying to find.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I love that we went with a guy with Alabama roots. He knows every high school football coach in the state. And it's a very good state to know the high school football coaches. So we just need the hidden gems. We don't need flashy stars. We just need 50 to 70 solid football players. And you can roll through the SoCon like that. I mean, UTC, I keep using them as an example. But Furman has shown a capability of producing consistently winning teams. I'm not going to count Wofford with the triple option. That was a system thing. Their players still sucked. But as far as just playing standard football, UTC paved the way, and they did that by just having bigger, faster, stronger guys. Slightly bigger, faster, stronger. Occasionally you'll get a Devonshaw Maxwell who's just a beast. Or who is the offensive lineman who went pro in the first round with them. Occasionally, like, you'll get one of those cats. But I think it's ripe for the picking. I don't think we're going to build a program that's going to beat the Dakotas, but that's okay.
Well, Illinois State did that on Saturday, so it's possible.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But
have we talked about I know we briefly talked about it when we were talking kind of the big board a couple weeks ago, but the weird transition for Gross kind of out of Jacksonville State, record started to decline a little bit, heads to Clemson, is in an off-the-field analyst role for, 4 years?
Yep.
Is that storyline not a little strange to you all, or we're just going with it?
So I asked my buddy who was on the Jacksonville State national championship runner-up team, played for Gross for 3 years. Because I was like, what's up? Like, is there a side story, or is there a backstory here? Why did he get run out of town? And long story short, it just seemed like it fizzled out. Seemed like Bill Clark had set a strong foundation. He was able to capitalize on that foundation, and made a run for 6-7 years, and then it just kind of fizzled. And everybody left on good terms. There's no controversy, no scandal that my buddy knew about. But yeah, I mean, Mike, you're right. It is odd that he goes from that. I'm not going to say the pinnacle of FCS football because they didn't win. But a very successful FCS coach to be an offense analyst. Now,
and that's not uncommon.
I don't know he and Dabo's, like, I don't know their relationship. Maybe he was.
So I was just, I don't think it's weird to go to an off-the-field analyst role, but to stick around there for 4 years is...
Well, for that long.
Like, unless you've got, a mitigation clause in your buyout that kind of like Butch Jones did at Alabama, but I doubt he was getting paid enough of a buyout from Jacksonville State to stick around in an off-field analyst role for 4 years.
No. I don't know. Maybe we all work jobs that we like. Well, 2 of us do. But maybe he just liked working for Dabo. Maybe he liked Clemson. It was a good life. I can imagine that the offense analyst is making a pretty nice salary.
And then you add like the family aspect. I'm pretty sure his oldest son is a senior at Clemson. His daughter's a sophomore or junior. So you kind of got that family dynamic too. I guess you don't want to move your high school kids again for that aspect. But no reason was given as to why they kind of parted ways. It was kind of weird. You go on this big stretch, you have one okay year, 6-6, then you go 10-3 the next year, and then you just come around. Maybe COVID plays some kind of factor in that too, where he was just ready to be done and needed a break. Who knows who can say it? But
well, he kind of alluded to it in his press conference where he talked about faith, family, football, and he said a lot of coaches screw up that order and put football over both or football over family. And maybe it is just as simple as he found a balanced life, wrote it out, and then an opportunity to continue that. Like, well, let's not pretend that being the head coach at Samford is the most demanding job on earth. It's not. You got to work hard, but you don't have to work as hard as the head coach of Alabama. Let's not joke around. Or even really UAB. Good luck to Coach Mortensen. Good luck, baby. That ain't going to work out. But I think it was the right opportunity, because I don't even think the pressure at Samford is the same as at Jacksonville State. I mean, look at, they were trying to get to the FBS, and who knows when that train started. I'm sure is when they sniffed that much success on the FCS level. But
yeah, and as Marty kind of alluded to when he let Hatcher go the next week, is like, we just got to be competitive. Like Samford was non-competitive the last 2 years. Obviously, this year going 1-11, you just got to find a way to get in the playoffs here and there. Obviously you want more than that, but it's like, again, what's kind of Samford's ceiling compared to other programs when it comes like that? Make the playoffs every now and then.
Yeah.
Hopefully every year have winning seasons, and maybe you do have that one magical year that Hatcher kind of ran into. But again, there's consistently winning. Yeah, consistently winning is basically the main thing that Samford had struggled over the last 3 years, well, ever since the 2022 season.
I think we can consistently get to the second round of the FCS playoffs every 3-4 seasons. Like one time as a player in your Samford career, you should have some decent playoff success.
Yep, that's fair.
That feels like an attainable goal.
Yeah. No, to clarify, I'm excited about the hire. Just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
You've got two options. You go seasoned veteran head coach with experience, or you go up and coming, kind of like, I guess, the Mercer route, right?
Right.
Which hit. But I think given where Samford's at, it's probably tough to find a sitting head coach somewhere else in the FCS that's willing to make a move to Samford. So I think we got exactly what we needed. Somebody with experience that knows the region, fits the Christian values of Samford, fits the mold. So I think it's a great hire.
It seems like a home run hire, which also means you take a step back, like you're doing, Mike. You take it easy. You're like, hey, maybe we don't just down the Kool-Aid in one sip,
Yeah, and it's kind of refreshing too. You kind of get, when it came to realistic targets, like you take, obviously, at the bit I kept running of Jimbo out there, but then like the road callers, you call Bill Clark, say, "What's up? Do you want to come to Samford?" And he's
or
like,
Hugh
"No."
Freeze.
Yeah, or Freeze is trying to angle for Southern Miss. I read that yesterday, but yeah, it is refreshing to kind of get your top target when it comes to realistic guys who wants to get back into coaching or head coaching, become Samford, and like Mike said, touch on the qualities that Samford and Martin and Corey Green and Beck Taylor are all looking for. So yeah, I do think he has the right, obviously, mindset of being an old, experienced coach. Even he talked about that. He's like, I thought I was a good coach when I left Jacksonville State, but after 4 years at Clemson, I think I'm a better coach now, just from that experience of sitting back and watching Dabo kind of run through the way he built his program, then taking bits and pieces of what you like, which is what everyone's hopeful when you get a guy from a staff like that.
Hopefully, there's no correlation between him being on the staff and Clemson having 4 of its lesser years under Dabo.
I think that has way more to do with the NIL strategy.
I think we all know why Phillip Rivers isn't our head coach now, so that's good to know that he wasn't waiting for a better offer.
I know.
He still had some juice.
That would have been awesome.
That press conference would have been insane. Like,
it would have been insane.
It's like, Phillip, slow down, stop talking, please. Like Jimbo.
Let's just President Taylor would not have had a chance to remember all of Phillip's kids' names.
He could have a son and a grandson at the same time.
He could. That's ridiculous.
He's building an army down there. But no, we're super excited for Coach Cross. And I even love that he kind of went into how to pronounce his name, because when I first saw it, I thought it was grass.
Samford Grass got a little greener when it comes to grass coming over. There is some staff news, because he did talk about, when he was on the Samford Basketball broadcast, he did talk about he's going to finish the season at Clemson, go through their Pinch Start Bowl. I think that's the 27th or 28th of December, whatever. Then he'll go Samford full time, but he's still building his staff out. So some things are kind of trickling out here and there. We do think that Paul Tyson, who is the grandson of Bear Bryant, was on Bama's roster, Clemson's roster. He will be the quarterback coach.
It's cool.
We think. And then one of Dabo's sons, Drew Sweeney, who was the assistant wide receivers coach and working offensive player development, he might, or has been reported that he will be the wide receivers coach. I think I can kind of confirm that he will be there. And who knows what other staffers from Clemson come over. Maybe Dabo has another son, Will, who's also on staff. He may come over to Samford. Not sure what his role may be. And then a guy that Clemson on 3 has kind of talked about, assistant running backs coach Andrew Zhao might come over to join Samford staff as well. He's been there at Clemson for 5 years. He played at Alabama from 98 to 91, also as head coaching.
Heck yeah.
And also has head coaching and high school experience in the state. So it looks like he will come over to, hasn't been announced or reported officially yet, but it looks like he will be Samford's running backs coach at least. So
that's awesome. I mean, one benefit I was just thinking of just now. So obviously Clemson's recruiting nationally, but they also recruit the Southeast primarily. Well, what if they come across some teammate of their recruiting and they're like, hey, coach, what's the Sweeney's kid's name? Drew?
Yep.
It's like, hey, Drew, check this kid out. And then all of a sudden you kind of have a pseudo scouting system at a Power 5 program helping you out a little bit. And I like that the running backs coach played at Alabama. And then it always is nice having Coach Bear Bryant's great grandson. It's kind of cool.
And then there might be some defensive staffers coming over. I haven't seen anything reported that way. It was trending to where Clemson safeties coach might come over, but again, that's kind of a paid decrease if you would kind of make that jump. He may or may not be retained on that staff when it comes to Clemson, so he may or may not come over. That was maybe originally planned, but I don't know if he's going to find another role at Clemson or come over to Homewood. That's still TBD right now.
It would make way more sense if he got fired to come take the Samford job.
Yeah, I think.
Otherwise, how much money are we putting into the football program? My goodness, are we trying to become one of the Dakotas?
Yeah, I think that would be a factor of it. Dad was like, I'm looking somewhere else. It would be good if you were able to find a job elsewhere, and Samford would be kind of a soft landing spot. We'll see if that actually happens. Comes to fruition. But yeah, that's kind of the early staff leanings we kind of seen and been reported so far.
All right, we'll get him on the pod at some point in the winter. Mike, we gotta pick his brain a little bit. What kind of brand of football are we going to be watching? What kind of guys are we going to be recruiting? You know?
I don't know how many. So we got Jimbo's son, we got Dabo's son, and we got Bear's grandson. How many national championships do we have? What a bloodline is Samford right now.
What a bloodline. We have a great lineage here.
I think that's the kind of
who knows how good of coaches they are, but we have the last names. That's really all that matters. We have the last names on the staff. They had cachet, and then obviously Gross, the offensive guy, was the OC at Jack State when Samford went over there playing that playoff game in 2015 or whatever. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So
just excited for something different.
Just
in
time.
Yeah. So too many years of heading into Samford football season with little to no expectation. So even if we go 2-9 or however many games we play, at least we'll start the season with excitement.
Yeah, I mean, this season is probably not going to go well. But let's check back in 2027.
Yeah, we do have some scheduling news that came out today. The Southern Illinois confirmed that Samford is starting a home and home with them starting in 2026. Samford will host SIU in 26 on September 5th and then go up there to SIU in 2027. So SIU is, AD confirmed that with one of their sites up there. So a 2-year home and home with Southern Illinois.
Those are the Salukis.
Salukis. They went 7-5 last year. So
heck yeah. Are they in Missouri Valley?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, so Stanford's non-con as of now will be Southern Illinois, and then UAB obviously going to protective.
I love that we're playing UAB.
Yeah,
like I saw that UTC got Alabama again, but I'd rather play UAB, especially at this moment. John Gross can get that team together. Come on, baby.
The Clemson. Hopefully, the UAB players they have now keep their hands and weapons to themselves when they before they play.
Chill. All right. Couldn't help yourself, Grant. Let's get to basketball where we could use some help. Mike, I'm going to let you take the wheel here. Are we watching what we expect? Do we feel okay? I did see that we're shooting the free throws a little bit better, but my God, our defense is bad.
Honestly, I think it's kind of tough to assess where we're at right now because we had such a brutal stretch there. I mean, looking at our schedule, we had a game on November 7, 12, 14, 16, 19, 21, 25, 26, and then a decent break till December 5th. So I think those losses there towards the end of November were somewhat just tired legs, a lot of travel, also playing decent competition. Florida Gulf Coast, we got waxed. Lost to New Mexico State, beat Georgia State, not bad. Lost to Utah Valley by 44.
We don't need to talk about that.
Pretty rough. That was the end of that, long stretch of games. Then you come back and you play VCU, who's a top 50 team. So it's like kind of hard to assess really where we're at right now. But, the fact that we were able to squeak by Cornell at home this past Sunday night, I think showed a little bit of promise. Saw Faulkner kind of doing what we thought he would do before the season started, and then obviously Booth. He came back with 30 points in that game. So, but you said it, Sam. I think defense is the question. Also, I think offensive consistency. Jaden Booth had a tough stretch there, which is really probably because defenders know who he is now, and they're putting so much pressure on him. But he has struggled to find ways to get involved in the game when he's, when they're locking him down on defense. So we got to figure out, when Booth isn't scoring and when Faulkner maybe is outmatched down in the paint in the post, how are we going to get our points? And that's the question that we asked before the season even started. And we're heading into SoCon play and we're asking the same question.
It felt like after that early stretch of games that we had kind of found some scorers, but I mean, Mike, I hope you're right. I hope the scheduling certainly played a part. There's no doubt. There was some attrition there. And sometimes things can snowball and whatnot. But I don't know. The inconsistency is worrisome because when you get into conference play, you just want to be, even if you're not that great, you just want to be consistent, and raise your floor. And right now our floor is pretty low. So
Yeah, in regards to Jaden, Cornell did a good job of running him off 3-point line. He responded pretty well, going 6 to 7 from 2, kind of attacking the paint a little bit more than we've kind of seen him. So he was trying to find different ways to kind of get rolling. And Sammy talked about the defensive end. Acuff talked after the game. He said, Clemson, I keep saying Clemson. Cornell was averaging 90 a game, and Lenny said he told the coaches before the game, we're going to have to score 80 to have a chance. And at halftime, we had 42, and I told them, we're on pace for 84. The only problem was Cornell was on pace for 100. So we kind of need to figure this out. So that's pretty good when it comes. Yeah, just the way Cornell's offense was fantastic. Like you said, Samford obviously had needed this desperately purely for vibes. Basically, obviously the VCU game went. You had guys sick over the Thanksgiving break in Cancun. Says you got your team back good, and then it's good to see Dylan Faulkner 23 and 12. He was the SoCon Player of the Week this past week, and he was doing work down low. So yeah, it was good to kind of see that. Again, agree with everything y'all said. Kind of the floor of the team needs to be raised a little bit, but it's kind of interesting when you have Zion out there who's big on the defensive end, but like he could give you 0 and 5 games in a row, then he'll drop 15 like he does against Arkansas, right? So,
but you need him defensively. That's the problem.
Yeah,
so he needs to get better at scoring consistently.
Yeah, Acuff said the same thing about Zion. Like I basically told him in the second half, we need you out there for rebounding because we couldn't buy a rebound in there. Cornell's getting a lot of second chance opportunities the first half. He's like, I basically told Zion, we're going to put you in the game. I'm not taking you out. You need to go play defense and actually help us get some rebounds, which he did a lot of. So it was good, and he was kind of the unsung hero according to Lenny when it comes to that work on the defensive end, as we have known in the past. But again, that offensive game will continue to hopefully grow over the course of the year.
Yeah, I think you all said it, but the consistency specifically from guys not named Faulkner and Booth, the Norris brothers, Campbell Finch, who's worked his way into the starting lineup, which is very impressive after a pretty strong November, and Cam Martin, like those guys have all flashed at different moments in the season, but it's kind of the point where you just don't really know what you're going to get out of them every game. And I think, the Norris brothers, I do love their consistency. I mean, I think they're both really high IQ players, and they're, when they're on the court, they're going to make the right decision and just not always going to score. So like I can deal with them, maybe not lighting it up on offense, but we really need more out of Campbell Finch and Martin, I think. Offensively, if especially in those games where Booth really isn't able to create a shot and score 30 points, 33% of our points week in, week out,
which is crazy.
Yeah, Cam's kind of the guy. If he can kind of chip in, bring you 10, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range when Jaden is giving you 20 to 22, that'll be a big boost, which they thought Humphrey would kind of be that guy before the Achilles injury and the exhibition games. Yeah. And like we said about both Keaton and Cade, just smart guys know what to do when they're out there. Keaton 9 points, but 7 assists as well. He had some big rebounding games too, which helps Samford in that regard. But yeah, I do kind of like having both those Norris brothers out there and just seeing what they could do. Cade with kind of quiet. He didn't play much in the second half, but he had 13 points in 25 minutes. It seemed like he didn't play down the stretch as much, but it's still a quiet 13 points, 3 boards.
Even a concern about our depth, coming off the bench, because Bornstad and Shaver, 2 guys that got a lot of playing time early, but have seen their minutes diminish. I mean, they played a combined 7 points against Cornell. So we're really playing 8 guys consistently, which is fine. I mean, eight's probably the minimum you'd want to run. But it would be nice to have a 9th or 10th guy that could get 10, 15 minutes a game if necessary.
Yes, is the answer to the question.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, especially again when Humphrey went down, it's like, oh gosh, Humphrey is a good shooter, has been a good shooter, so it'll be nice to have him back next year in this mix. Hey, he would provide an extra kind of scoring punch, and the Cam would have filled in wherever Humphrey wasn't there. But yeah, 7 minutes, like you said, combined from Judson and Will. Pollard rebound. He plays that small ball 5 when they don't want to put Shaver out there, want to get a little more athletic. So he has been playing well defensively. But yeah, who outside of that mix of Zion, Jackson, Cam, and Bornstead are kind of be that guy to kind of pitch in 6, 8, 9, 10 points, which would be key, especially once you get deep in February.
I mean, it's most likely going to be Shaver. Bornstad's had plenty of opportunities. Dude is the least efficient scorer I've ever seen. On the season, he's 4 for 20. That's terrible.
Yeah, he's struggling to keep up a little bit with that shift from D2 to D1, which I thought it was going to be a little bit more seamless for him. I think I quote myself in our preseason episode. I thought he was going to win us a game or two, but I don't know how I feel about that right now. Not this season.
No. Shaver's much more efficient, but he can't. I mean, he's too big. He can't be out on the court for 25 minutes. He averages 7.5 minutes right now. So
yeah, he's not as good a shooter, but you want Judson kind of fill that Nathan Johnson role that Bucky had when the tournament team guy would fit in. Nathan was the guy who ended up winning that ETSU game when he had 15 points baked in that corner 3 basically to help Samford get that win at ETSU during the tournament runs. Yeah, Judson's not as good offensively when it comes to Nathan shooting wise, but again, can he play more than 5 minutes? It does seem like his minutes are kind of winding down once we kind of get that happy 7 to 8 to 9 guys playing a conference play. It's good to see Campbell Finch Diggy with 22 minutes starting. So
he's kind of been not the bright spot, but one of the more fun players to emerge out of this group because it was so unclear who we were going to be watching outside of Booth, and I guess Faulkner, but he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's gonna be really good.
He's if we can keep him around, he kind of reminds me of Josh Holloway a little bit, just with his athleticism, and he's probably a better shooter than Holloway was. It's not hard to do.
Definitely a better shooter.
I mean, he's just so smooth handling the ball and plays with so much effort that if we can keep him around, he's going to be a beast in his junior senior season.
That's what sucks right now about watching this team is you can see the pieces and kids have flashed. We've yet to see a complete game, which is fine. We're like 12 games into this thing. Nothing matters yet. So I still have hope that this could be a very good team. The SoCon overall is down. When you go look at the Ken Palm, there's like 3 good teams on the analytics side of things, and then a whole lot of bad.
Yeah, there's a whole. Yeah, I texted y'all this morning. There's a whole lot of red when it comes to defensive rating and conference play.
Yeah.
You have ETSU, who's always been good defensively, 105, Furman 197th, and then everyone else is 213th or lower, with Citadel worse in the entire country on the defensive end. It's
crazy.
It's brutal. It has the SoCon as the 22nd best league in a year since we've been doing this. We've always seen it in the 12th, 13th slot, but yeah, seeing it down this much, it's very wide open. It's pretty much ETSU. Mercer's been playing well. Furman is hitting their stride a little bit when it comes to getting wins. But it's really tough to find which. Again, it's a lot like football too. It wasn't good, and obviously Samford was terrible, so they couldn't find a way to capitalize on. But hopefully, basketball can find a way to kind of capitalize and finish in that top 3.
Yeah, it's wide open, but it does seem like it's ETSU's to lose at this moment. But how many times through non-conference have we been like, oh, look at this team, they're propped up by Ken Palm because they're playing these sorry squads, and then they actually are not that good.
Yeah, I think preseason we probably thought Samford, I think everybody kind of agreed top 4, but potentially kind of sitting at number 2 maybe. I still think we're top 4, but pretty solidly at 4. And we gotta continue to improve to make that happen.
If we had lost to Cornell,
yeah,
I would say we're probably like 6th.
I mean, we were down 15 at home, so it's not like, I mean, a win's a win, but that could have gotten a lot uglier than it was.
Is a win. Yeah, is a win.
Again, purely for vibes. We need some good vibes, especially. Again, as we touched on, just need some good vibes coming through, and they found a way to get it done.
That's
yeah,
right.
kids were studying for
We have
finals. Didn't
Brian.
have a big environment at home, so we didn't really have that home court advantage.
Is it
you know?
already finals?
Yeah,
I
finals
think so.
week
Yeah.
was last. Yeah, finals because obviously no Jan term, so everything gets bumped up. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we have Brian on the 15th, Reinhardt on the 19th, and then we're off until January 1 in Lexington, Virginia. What better way to spend your New Year's than in Lexington, Virginia?
I can think of a million other places
Just a
I'd rather
few.
be.
Just a few. Boys, any other thoughts on men's basketball before we hit on FCS playoffs, women's basketball, and the softball schedule?
We could talk about this once we get through conference play, but it's interesting to kind of see the way Samford runs their offense. So let's get the ball in the high post and find a way to either get a back cut or find a way to move the offense. So it is kind of interesting to kind of see, obviously, way different than we've seen before, the way Alini kind of builds his offensive half court game. So that'll be interesting to watch kind of over the course of the year, how that continues to expand and get better when the guys play more minutes together and the team just gels a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to Grant's point, he runs a pretty specific offense, very different than what Bucky ran, and it's a little bit probably more methodical. So you would think a bunch of guys playing together for the first time is going to take them a minute to kind of get up to speed with running that system and playing well together. So hopefully they just are still getting comfortable with each other.
Yeah. And the other reality, which I don't want to harp on too much because you still expect to win the game, but the timing of the coaching search and getting hired and putting the roster together was not ideal. Not that, the expectation is not to win, but we should keep that in the back of our minds, especially if it goes really south once we hit conference play. Anyway, boys, women's basketball, not faring too much better. We lost to North Alabama in overtime, 68-66, and Tennessee Tech, 82-60. The last two games, Tennessee Tech was on the road. North Alabama was at home. We thought we might win both of those games, knowing nothing about Tennessee Tech or North Alabama women's basketball. But we got 0 wins. Lost the Java Jingle Jam. I think that was the Christmas sweaters game. So that's tough. We traveled to South Carolina on Sunday to take on USC Upstate. Presumably that'll be a win. That feels like a team that we should be able to beat before we take on Lipscomb on Thursday night in Birmingham. So the women, kind of a similar boat, rebuilding. I guess in the women's case, still building from scratch, but I don't know. This might be another long year on the women's side. Moving to the FCS playoffs, we gave a recap last week. The big news this week, Illinois State, as you mentioned, Grant, beat number 1 seed North Dakota State. It can be done, boys. It can be done. 29-28 in the Fargo Dome. They're going to be taking on UC Davis in the quarterfinals. If y'all remember, UC Davis was that school chirping about the Montana matchup. Oh, no, that was Sac State. I'm sorry, UC Davis. I'm sorry. That was Sac State. It's another California squad. But Illinois State traveling to California, that's a wild travel schedule. Going from North Dakota to California, all in a day's work on this wild FCS playoff run. Villanova taking on Tarleton State. Remember, Tarleton State annihilated UTC in the regular season. Very good squad out of Texas. And then on the other side of the bracket, Stephen F. Austin's taking on Montana State. That's the 7 seed versus the 2 seed Montana State. And then South Dakota taking on the Grizz of Montana. Always a fun TV view is when it's at Montana in the snow. Those uniforms look awesome in the snow. So got some good matchups. Shocker that we got 2 Montana squads and then 1 Dakota squad. Not. But it's fun that we have Illinois State, the only team left in the quarters who is not seeded. So only 1 underdog.
Poor Mercer got drubbed at home.
Yes.
Tough.
Yes.
Hate to see
47-0, which is crazy. They're not that bad.
Who did they lose to?
South Dakota. So, I mean, South Dakota obviously came to play. My gosh, Mercer, come on. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
All right,
SoCon's
boys.
struggling right now.
Yes, we're slipping in football, slipping in basketball. We are not slipping in baseball because it's way more parity in college baseball at the mid-major level. But yeah, I don't know. I would just want to chalk it up to NIL and the portal, but I can't imagine that we're that much less competitive than some of these other conferences out there. Football is less surprising by this point because it's, the Missouri Valley, but
I mean, maybe Samford should look at
And the Big Sky.
look at the Utah model, go private equity, like bolster that athletic department.
yes. Nothing screams alignment than, private equity and a private Baptist college. Last thing, boys, softball schedule dropped. They don't have the tournament split out on the schedule, so it's a little bit hard to read. But we're traveling to Tallahassee, taking on Florida State twice, Marshall, and Georgia State. Then we're back in Birmingham, playing a very different slew of squads. Alabama State, Lindenwood, who we tend to play in softball and baseball.
Good.
And I think we played them in basketball one year. Maybe not, though. And then Belmont. And then, I guess North Alabama and Belmont also. Oh, yeah, I said Belmont. But North Alabama is included in that, too. So that's Alabama State, Lindenwood, Belmont, and North Alabama in that little tournament. We go to Georgia for a midweek. And then we go to Starkville, Mississippi for another weird group of teams. So you would think we're in Starkville, Mississippi, that we'd be taking on Mississippi State. No, we're actually playing Ole Miss, Delaware State, Belmont again, and then finish it up again with a rematch against Delaware State. Before we head to Eugene, Oregon, guys, this schedule is on crack. We have Stetson, Idaho State, and then Oregon twice, which will be sweet in Eugene. But let's recap. Tallahassee, Birmingham, Starkville, Mississippi, and Eugene, Oregon. And we're not even halfway there.
Well,
that's half of the non-con.
It's a long
Then
bus
we
ride.
come back to Birmingham to take on, what was that, Mike?
So that's a long bus ride.
It's a long bus ride.
Probably still shorter than
fact,
Lexington,
remember-
Virginia, but pretty long.
That's true. If I
I mean,
remember
this is
after we recorded in Megan, she was like, wait till you guys see the schedule. It's going to be tough. She was running us through it. We were like, oh my gosh. And now seeing it on paper after what she told us was going to be, it's like, oof, okay.
Well, get ready for this. The Mobile, Alabama tournament. We're playing New Mexico. The Lobos are going to be in South Alabama. Then we take on South Alabama twice. And, we didn't play Mississippi State in Starkville, but by God, in Mobile, we take on Mississippi State twice. I don't know how that works. Then we travel to Tuscaloosa for a midweek against Bama. Back-to-back days, we go to Jacksonville, Alabama to take on Jacksonville State. And then we take on Troy as our last non-conference game before conference play begins.
Thank God.
But yeah, I mean, that non-conference slate's pretty wild. It becomes much more normal when conference play begins. Our midweeks this year, Alabama State, UAB, which will be fun, at UAB, at Ole Miss, Alabama in Birmingham, at West Georgia. So pretty fun midweeks once the conference slate begins. But my goodness, what a wild non-conference schedule.
I mean, all the
Idaho
women's
State,
sports non-cons are insane.
Delaware State, in Starkville, Mississippi. I mean, how do these things come together? Anyway, boys, thoughts on softball schedule, FCS playoffs, men's basketball, anything you want to talk about? John Gross. We're going to win the Natty.
Yeah, we'll be beating Dakota State next year in Birmingham.
Heck yeah,
Just
we
wait.
will.
Mark my words.
Heck yeah.
He won the press conference. He won Sam over at the press conference. That's all that matters.
He did. He won me over in 2 seconds.
That is true. Yeah,
I was like, I love this guy.
Yeah. It's almost the same thing. Like every time a new coach comes in, it's like, oh my gosh, he can say like the smallest things. Like that is incredible. I had never thought of that before. It's amazing. It was kind of that same thing when Bucky took over A&M. He does like, I can't remember what it was, but it's like the guys after the starting lamps and went over and shook hands with the student section. They're like, "Oh my gosh, his players are shaking hands with the student section before the game. This is incredible. This is awesome." I said, "Yeah, he did that every year. Every year he was here." I was like, "Oh, okay."
He's a
So it is
community
funny.
builder.
Yeah, well, he kind of is. But yeah, it is kind of funny just kind of see the way that goes. But again, well, joke aside, we are obviously excited for Gross and what he's going to do. So
yeah. And we will be excited for this basketball team.
Yeah.
We're just not that excited yet. They will be good.
Good to finally get a break, too. Even Lenny was like, we haven't practiced, basically. We're like an NBA team. We play a game, get on to play and play another game. It's like, we actually get to practice. What a world that will be.
So 2 games out from the SoCon play, who do you think has a higher chance of being SoCon Player of the Year, Faulkner or Booth? Is there a chance for either of them?
Yeah, I think Faulkner.
Yeah.
Booth, I think he's too small. I think we don't have enough guys to detract or attract attention away from him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a beast. He's going to get his, but...
Yeah, other than Bowser, I can't think of anybody at Dylan's position that would kind of put up the numbers that he'll be able to do, especially the way Samford's offense runs through Dylan, basically, and everything else.
Right.
Built
but we
off
have
of
to
that.
win.
That's true. I don't know. Western Carolina was the 5 seed, and Woolbright won the Player of the Year. So
yeah, but he was good.
Yeah, he was different.
That's different. That Western Carolina's coach needs to be put in jail. It was criminal how bad that team performed with that kind of talent.
He got didn't he get hired somewhere else up a level?
Yeah, he got the job at Coastal.
Yeah.
Ooh. Sick. Ooh. I think I'd rather live in Kolowee, but I do like the beach, just not that beach. All right,
good.
well.
I could finally get a break for basketball.
Yep.
Should get some practice time in.
Yep. Well, everybody enjoy, hopefully, the 2 blowouts we have coming on the basketball court. Take a look at that softball schedule. Hopefully you find it as entertaining as we did. And if you see Coach Cross around, tell him good luck because we're going to need it, especially in his first year. Say the Bulldogs is out. We will catch y'all next week. Hope everyone has a fantastic week.
Subscribe to YouTube.